the last thing I wanted to get into, right? And y'all hit the like button for me. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I wanted to get into this GOAT conversation that Stephen A. Smith, I mean, it really started with Allen Iverson, and I did a video on that. Allen Iverson came out and said, man, number one is Michael Jordan, number two is Kobe for me, man. It's like he said, like, it don't get no better than them two dudes. And I don't know what it is about the media, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, Stephen A. Smith, Will Bond. It's a lot of people that are dead set on LeBron James being number two behind Michael Jordan. And which is cool because it's their opinion. But what I don't understand is if anybody has anybody else number two, the way they come and attack and defend LeBron, they attack the person who said LeBron's not number two, and then they come to defend LeBron. Like, I don't know why they all do it. Like, they just are disgusted if you say anybody else is number two. And what they were more disgusted at is if anybody puts Kobe Bryant number two. They don't even like Kobe to be in the top five. They want to push Kobe all the way down. So what I'm going to play for you is the response of Stephen A. Smith when he was responding to Allen Iverson putting Kobe number two. And then I'm going to play for you Gilbert Arenas, Rashaad McCants, Lexi Brown on Gil's Arena respond to Stephen A. Smith, and they ethered him. And I'm going to come back with my commentary. But first, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, here's Stephen A.
I get it. Allen Iverson, does he have LeBron James number two? No. Does he have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a 19-time All-Star, 6-time champion, a 6-time MVP? Does he have him as number two? No. Who does Allen Iverson have as number two all time in NBA history? It's Kobe Bryant. Ladies and gentlemen, Kobe and I did not have the kind of relationship that Allen Iverson and I have. It was pretty damn close. For a media member, if you knew some of the conversations that Kobe Bryant and I shared with one another, you'd realize we were friends. That was my man. I miss him every day. I love him to death. And I'm so sad every time his name comes up because I'm reminded of the fact that he's gone. Gone but never forgotten. But Kobe Bryant is not the second greatest player in NBA history. That's just not true. It's just not. It's just not. And the points per game didn't equal LeBron's. The assists didn't equal LeBron's. The rebounds didn't equal LeBron's. The durability didn't equal LeBron's. He's got more rings, but we can't ignore the fact that the first three came with Shaq in his prime.
So?
Meaning the most dominant force of our era, and next to Wilt Chamberlain, one of the top two most dominant figures in the history of basketball. That dude, the 7'1", 350-pound diesel. Okay? The big Aristotle. That dude. All of that. That dude, Shaq. 3 of Kobe's rings came with Shaq. Now Shaq didn't win without him. Shaq didn't win with Pitt.
All right, so my response to that is I don't understand why playing with Shaq is a knock. All right, nobody knocked D Wade for playing with Shaq and getting a ring. Nobody knocked D Wade for playing with LeBron and getting 2 rings. Right, so it's almost like those 3 rings that he got with Shaq, we go discredit those. That's what they're doing. Like, they don't even count. But let's break down the whole he played with Shaq thing. Does that mean that he's not good? Like, he can't help that Shaq was there when he got drafted. He can't help that. Right? So he had to play with Shaq. Shaq was there before him. Shaq was in the league before him. Shaq was established before him, and he was 18. Right? So he comes into the league and he's playing with Shaq. That didn't have nothing to do with him going and working on his game and perfecting his craft and becoming as good as he was. And what he did on those Lakers teams, it wasn't like he was coat riding Shaq. A lot of times Shaq was coat riding him until they got to the finals and they played against a weak East team that didn't have a center that can even get in his way. So I'm not going to knock him, but Kobe did know that he needed to separate from Shaq because he wanted to be mentioned in the same breath with Michael Jordan. So he knew he had the number 1 win, but more importantly, he knew that he had to perfect his game like Michael did. And that's what Kobe Bryant's concentration was on. I want to perfect my game just as well as Mike did. But he accepted the challenge of being able to play without Shaq. Because if his concentration was, let me put up the most stats as possible and then get as much rings as possible, he would have stayed with Shaq. That's what LeBron does. LeBron tries to find a dominant player to play with so it's easier for him. So the same thing that you're trying to discredit Kobe for, LeBron does it. He's done it 3 times. He left and got 2 dominant players to join him in Miami, and then left there and got 1 dominant player in Kyrie, a semi-dominant player in Love to join him. And then he left and went to the Lakers and got another dominant player in AD and another dominant player in Dwight to join him to get his rings. Right? So LeBron is playing with dominant players as well. Y'all just made AD a top 75 player. Y'all just made Wade a top 75 player. I don't know if Bosh is top 75, but Kyrie should be top 75, but y'all mad at him because he got a vax. So he's playing with top players and he's handpicking them. Kobe didn't handpick them. Kobe did the opposite. Everything with LeBron, when you contrast it to Kobe and Mike, is opposite, right? LeBron is looking for the dominant player. Kobe acts to be away from the dominant player because he knew that someone was going to say, you got your rings with Shaq. We don't think you're that good. And he wanted to prove to everyone he is that good. So he said, get rid of the dominant player in Shaq and I'll figure out how to win. And he did and went 3 straight finals. He could have 3-peated, but he lost to Boston, right? Then he beat Orlando. Then he came back and beat Boston again, or beat Boston. So he got a 2-peat, went to the finals 3 times. And then with him and Shaq, he went to the finals 4 times. LeBron needed 2 players like Shaq. Wade was dominant, Bosh was dominant. And then he went and got Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis. And he couldn't even get a 3-peat. He went 2 for 4. He lost to Dirk. So I don't understand why you even start bringing up he played with Shaq. And that's not how you judge players anyway. Judge Kobe based on how good he was, not based on who he played with, because you're not judging LeBron by who he played with. It's not fair. You can't use a criteria to discredit a guy and don't use that criteria against his competition. So we don't care that LeBron played with dominant players, but we go care that Kobe did, even though he separated himself. But like I said, everything is opposite, right? And I get to Kobe being a better player in a second, but I just want to talk about how everything is opposite. LeBron, when his team loses, no matter who his teammates are, the role players get blamed, not LeBron. When Mike and Kobe lost games, it was their fault. You can't name a role player for the Lakers or the Bulls that got blamed the way the role players that play with LeBron get blamed. Westbrook blamed. AD blamed. Right now, D'Angelo Russell blamed. Wade was blamed for losing that last championship because his knees was bad. Blame. Forget that Pippen had a bad back and missed the whole. Well, first of all, he had a bad back and had to have surgery on his foot. Missed half the season. Michael Jordan out there with just Rodman, and Rodman couldn't even score. It's just Jordan, Rodman, and Kukoc. They was losing at the beginning. Guess who fault it was? Mike's. Nobody got blamed. Not one role player, not one co-star got blamed. Then they figured it out, started winning, got to the playoffs, and then, Pippen showed back up for the, right before the playoffs, and they went to the playoffs and got to the finals, and then Pippen back went out. So he missed half the season, probably a little bit more than half the season. Limped through the playoffs, back went out in the finals, and Michael Jordan still went and finished the game. Nobody gets blamed. Pippen never got blamed. Maybe the only time I can think about Pippen getting blamed is when he didn't come back in the game against Detroit when he had the migraine. They might have blamed him for that. I can't remember if they was blaming him. But I think for the most part, everybody was saying Michael Jordan can't get it done. He can't get past the Pistons. Michael Jordan gets all the blame for all the losses for the Bulls. Kobe get the blame for all the losses of the Lakers. But it's opposite for LeBron. LeBron gets no blame from the media. They blame his role players, and then someone ends up getting traded or someone ends up getting fired. When have you ever seen a leader in any organization or any walks of life? I don't care if you lead a household. I don't care if you run a business. I don't care if you lead the Boy Scouts. When something goes wrong, no one comes and just walk right past the leader and start going to the help and blaming them. Right now, if I lose all the money that I have saved up and we go broke, I don't expect nobody to go to my kids and be like, what the hell are y'all doing? They're going to come to the leader, me and my wife. The leaders' judgment and blame starts with the leaders, because when it's opposite and everything is going good, the leaders always get the praise. LeBron is getting the praise for everything. The 2 championships he got in Miami, he gets more praise for that than Wade does. And he definitely get more than Bosh does. No one's going to Ray Allen and congratulating him for getting the ring in Miami. They're going to LeBron. So you can't bypass LeBron and start blaming his role players when things go bad. The Lakers are losing right now. That's on LeBron and AD. That's not on D'Angelo Russell and AR-15. So after Stephen A. Smith spewed that BS out there, before I even get to Gil's Arena, I just want you to hear how much like he go try to describe Kobe as a friend and all this stuff. But you're disgusted that Allen Iverson, someone who competed against him, you're disgusted that he has a number 2. He's not number 2. It's just not true. He didn't average more points than LeBron. He didn't average more rebounds than LeBron. He didn't average more assists. I already told y'all, assists and rebounds are just, it's a joke stat if you're trying to use that to determine who's better, right? You don't use assists and rebounds to determine who's a better player. Throw the assists and rebounds out of the door. Who cares about that stat? That is called majoring in the minors. Assists and rebounds are minor stats that we give it to our role players. Make sure you rebound. Charles Oakley, Charles Smith, Anthony Mason, y'all rebound. We go to Patrick Ewing for the points though. Points are the major stat. Defense is the other major stat. You have to play good defense to force a miss in order for someone to get a rebound. You have to have the ability to score for someone to get an assist. If you pass me the ball at the 3-point line and I can't shoot threes, you're not getting an assist. So stop bragging about assists. Assist is basically saying I got the ball to someone who can score. I give you 50% credit for finding him, but what happens after you give him the ball is on his ability. So it's 50% you for finding him and 50% on the score for knocking the bucket down. But when it comes to things that are solely on you, if I got to, everybody has the responsibility of stopping their man. And there's select few people who are so good at defense that they stop their man, and they supposed to be able to get to the rim and protect the rim and stop if somebody else man gets to the rim. Those are shot blockers and, you know, smart people like Draymond that can slide over and catch a charge and stuff like that, right? But for the most part, the basics is stop your man, right? So that's on your ability to defend. And then the other thing is scoring. What you get in the gym and work on, what's as part of your arsenal and your package, that's on you. Scoring, right? Those two things are on you solely. Rebounds and assists are dependent on more than one person. Everyone has to stop their man to force a missed shot for a rebound to be got, and the other guy who got the ability to score is on him in order for you to get the assist. I say all that to say this: we got to stop falling in love with this close to a triple double, and especially when you're trying to separate LeBron from Michael Jordan and Kobe based on 2 assists. Kobe averaging 6 assists a game, 5 rebounds, and you want to separate LeBron because of 2 assists and 3 rebounds. That don't make LeBron better than him. And what that really tells me is maybe Kobe Bryant is more efficient than we thought he is, because if I could win 5 rings without having to average a triple double, but you got to get a triple double to average to get 4 rings and a super team. Come on, bro. That's not how you don't use stats to evaluate players. You evaluate players based on their strengths, weaknesses, and how they perform on the court with those strengths and weaknesses. That's how you evaluate it. But Stephen A. Smith was disgusted that they had him number 2. It reminded me of Nick Wright and how disgusted he was that Jim Jackson had Kobe number 2.
Considered the greatest player ever. I apologize, I misread the numbers, but you're absolutely right. He has the most MVPs ever. He's got the most points ever. He was the best player in the league his first day in the NBA.
He changed college basketball.
So Kareem, if you want to make the argument that Kareem, rather than Michael Jordan, rather than LeBron, should be considered the best player ever, you can make a credible argument.
Right.
But the other guy you mentioned, the idea that Kobe Bryant even gets to be in this discussion is laughable.
No, it's not laughable.
You hear how disgusted he is with it? Why are they so mad?
That played against Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
We view things totally different, because Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant not going to let you off the hook. Forget the numbers. I'm talking about great competitive. Ronnie Lott, you know, when he came to hit you, it was a different story than than Deion Sanders.
Yes.
As a player that played against Michael and played against Kobe, LeBron is going to let you off the hook. LeBron is going to do some things.
Basically, he's saying players don't look at it like that. We don't look at stats to tell us who the better player is. We judge it on the floor. We judge it based on ability and based on strengths and weaknesses. Kobe had less weaknesses than LeBron. LeBron has a lot of weaknesses in his game, right? LeBron has enough weaknesses in his game where he have to strategically handpick teammates to cover up his weaknesses. I can't shoot, so everybody on the floor got to be able to shoot. And I play point guard and I find the shooters because I'm not a good shooter. I can't shoot free throws. I can't post. Like, I have to be a guy that's driving to the hole with a head full of steam with nobody in the paint. So I can't even play with post players. So he got to strategically handpick every single player, and they got to be the perfect fit. And when they're not the perfect fit, the team don't look as good. And then he's trying to find a mid-season trade. Those are red flags. If I got to keep trading and firing people, and I have to have a perfect teammate and the perfect co-star, and everybody got to be shooters, and you can't be a post player. If you're a post player, you got to learn how to shoot threes. Like, when you start seeing all that maneuvering, like I said, everything that LeBron and Kobe and Mike did was opposite. Mike and Kobe adjusted their game for their teammates. Okay, you want to go in a triangle offense field? I go in a triangle offense. I come off the ball. I let somebody else be a point guard or a point forward. I get my points within the triangle. That's the star player making an adjustment. Why do I want my star player to make an adjustment to his teammates instead of vice versa? Because the star player is the player with the most gifts. So when it comes to somebody to make an adjustment, if I got Rondo on my team and Rondo is only good at dribbling and passing, why would I take that away from him? You're good at one thing, playing point guard. That's your only gift. And defense, but as far as offense, you got one gift, being a leader point guard. If I can't play with a superstar that can let me do that, then that says something about his game. That's saying something that he's lacking. Rondo could do that with Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce because they could shoot. Now all my point guard got to do is find us. But with LeBron played point guard that year he played with Rondo. Rondo was shooting threes. He was off the ball. So you got a guy that with one gift and your superstar with all these gifts, he can't make the adjustment. Rondo had to make the adjustment. Chris Bosh, he was a post player in Toronto. He had to make an adjustment and be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Kevin Love was a post player in Minnesota. He had to make the adjustment and be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. So much so he had to lose weight and turn from a power forward to a small forward. Right? You get what I'm saying? So all the players around LeBron make the adjustment so LeBron can stay in his box. But if LeBron is the player with that's the prodigy, that's the superstar with all the gifts, why he can't make the adjustment? He went to Miami. D Wade had to make the adjustment. Everybody makes an adjustment for LeBron. LeBron not making an adjustment. Kobe and Mike made adjustments for their team. They came off the ball, went in the triangle. They made an adjustment for Phil Jackson because Phil wanted to coach and play and coach the triangle. And then he wanted the ball in someone else's hand other than his superstar. And then he both told them, you have to run my offense. And then when you can take over the game in the fourth, if we need it, then you can do it. I seen games where Phil Jackson took Kobe out of the game where he had 60 points and had a whole fourth quarter left to play, and he'll take him out of the game and won't let him go for the record. Kobe could have had 100 points a couple of times. Phil would take him out of the game. I remember Kobe Bryant was about to win the scoring title, and it was up to the last game. It was him and Kevin Durant up for the scoring title. Kobe Bryant sat that last game out and didn't even play because it was he said he wanted to get ready for the playoffs. LeBron wouldn't have done that. He would have played that game. I'm getting that scoring title. Kevin Durant ended up getting that was his first scoring title. Right? So everything is opposite. Kobe makes the adjustment for his team. So does Mike. LeBron, he wants everybody to adjust to him. But anyway, like I said, all that nonsense Stephen A. Smith spewed out prompted the Gilbert Arenas to respond to it. And I'm glad they did. And this is what they said.
750. You know what's funny is when people, I think Iverson said he had Kobe at 2, mm-hmm. right? And Stephen A. challenged that. Mm-hmm. What makes Kobe special in player's mind, right? In a player's mind himself, right? It has we don't go by your stats. We don't go by the accolades. We go by how the person played, what was his attributes, right? Mm-hmm. So when you think about the greatest players of all time, 90, 80% of them have God gift of natural talent, ability, body, Fact. Right? So Jordan, 48-inch vertical, right? You got the big hands, right? Fact. You got LeBron, right? You have Shaquille O'Neal, right? Then Magic, 6'9" point guard with vision. Kobe, standard. Mm-hmm. If I give you 6'6" and then took every 6'6" guard in the NBA and NBA history, you would never find him. You would see Jordan because there he is, right? You would never find Kobe because he didn't have big hands, right? He wasn't quick. He wasn't fast. 38-inch vertical. That's standard. Like if you don't have a 30-inch vertical, you're not even a shooting guard in today's game, right? And what he did with that body, it's like you took a S500 and he was pushing it like a Bugatti. Mm-hmm. That's what we look at. We look at the normal person fighting gods.
Yes.
I mean, almost every player, the first thing, what's something that you love about his work ethic, his mentality? Like, yeah, he's a scorer. He does all his championships. But like, if you ask any player why they love Kobe so much, it's always work ethic, how he thought the game and his IQ, and like numbers come after. And I think that's what makes Kobe so special.
Elevation. Like elevation. When Stephen A did all that shit, I went on the page, I commented because I know like the narrative is to kill Kobe off, but he's already gone. We can't keep trying to kill off the nigga that did everything for us. 10 years in one jersey, 10 years in another jersey. 15,000, both jerseys. What he did for 20 years for our league, man, I'm not gonna say it's unmatched, but what, like you said, the skill set, the attributes, taking this S500 and showing up to the fucking game like it's a Bugatti, and everyone else is like, how do I turn my S500 to the Bugatti? And you witnessed him working on that motherfucker in the garage. You was like, oh, that's how you turn this motherfucker into a Bugatti. Mm-hmm. Wow. So when I hear Stephen A going off on these rants about how Kobe Bryant is not this and not that, you didn't have that energy when he was here. Mm-hmm. Where was that energy when he was alive? And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative.
Yeah.
Why would Kobe be in the conversation for you to kill him off so LeBron can live higher than him? Right. It don't make no fucking sense. Let the man rest. Let's keep him wherever everyone has him. If you got him one, you got him two, you got him three. We don't need nobody trying to push him down, push him away so somebody else can be elevated. LeBron gonna be LeBron.
Yeah.
Mike gonna be Mike. We've been comparing Kobe, Mike forever. Here comes LeBron. Okay, join the conversation, my nigga, but don't be trying to diminish my man's name.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't that guy.
Man, it's no different than like Curry, right?
And that's what they're doing. Like you can hear it in their voice. As soon as you bring up Kobe, and they have to shoot it down because they can't prop LeBron up without getting Kobe out of the way first. There's no conversation if we be real about it because LeBron never even passed Kobe. He barely passed Bird and Magic or Duncan. And even Curry is creeping in that conversation now. Like, you can tell when the media has it out for a player. I want you to compare Kobe and Kyrie Irving. If someone brings up Kyrie Irving, and we all know Kyrie Irving is just as good as Steph Curry, if not better. Kyrie Irving is on that level. As far as point guards in the league, if Steph's one, to me, Kyrie Irving is number two. And it's been like that for a long time. Well, now you got SGA creeping up, and De'Aaron Fox, them some bad boys, and Dame Lillard has been there. So it's 5. And I'm not counting Luka as a point guard. He's a small forward to me. But if we count him as a point guard, then put Luka in there as well, right? But Kyrie is on Steph Curry's level. Say that around someone in the media, and they're going to give you the same type of vitriol or the same type of attitude that they give you when you bring up Kobe's name amongst Michael Jordan or LeBron. They will not allow it. And that's personal for them. Personal why? For one, the relationship that ESPN has with LeBron and media members have with ESPN or whatever the case may be, or media members might have a relationship with LeBron. LeBron has been carrying this league for a while, not because he was always the best player, because it was years that Steph and KD were better than LeBron. But as far as the media and them marketing, LeBron has been lucrative for them. They can't afford for LeBron not to be him. But so many people know he's not. Because when they evaluate players, they're evaluating how good they are, not how much they was able to accumulate stats. LeBron fooled y'all. Like all the LeBron stands and LeBron loves, he fooled y'all with stats. The ultimate goal is to win the basketball game and win championships. If I can do that with 30 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists, and I get more winning out of it than you do, why the heck am I going to look at your 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists and say that makes you better than me? I didn't need 8 assists. I only need 5 to win. Does that make sense? Like, that's what efficiency is. Getting the job done with the least amount of work. The job is to win. Like Kobe said, job's not done. Job's not finished. I came there to do a job. I came here to win. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. If I can spend enough energy on defense to stop my man, I'd rather do that than get the extra 3 assists. Because guess what? I got 4 teammates that can get those 3 assists. I don't have to be the one to get the assist. I have a point guard. I have a point forward. I have a Paul Gasol who passed just as well as a guard does. I got Derek Fisher. I got Ron Harper. Like, I have people that can pass. Why do I have to make the pass and score all the points and play lockdown defense? No, I'd rather score at a high level and defend at a high level instead of me going to go get stats that's going to make it look good in a loss. In a 4-0 sweep, in a 4-1 gentleman sweep, I'm losing, but everybody's bragging about my triple-double. And the fact that I led in every statistical category. You lost. How are we rewarding it? We're not. I'm done telling people that LeBron is better than somebody just because he averaged 20, 28, 8, and 8. They don't make you better. That just means you stuck the stat sheet. It's ridiculous. I just can't wrap my head around it, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I'm done with it, man. I'll check y'all out on the next episode. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Deposit that money. If you deposit $100, they're going to match $100. Use the promo code ManDownSports and start earning some money, start winning some bets like I did. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports.